Nothing like getting a day off in the middle of the week. I tell you what, Wednesday, off work just because it's slow, so I just used a vacation day, so I wasn't just doing random little busy work, which essentially just means I'd be moving trailers around Indianapolis. So I would drive all the way out to Indianapolis, move trailers around, and then just like hang out in my truck for 24 hours. And I didn't want to do that. I was like, you know what, throw me down for some PTO time before that's slow, and I'll just take the day off. But it should be pretty nice going to the gym today on a Wednesday afternoon. Everyone's at work or in school. Watch, it's going to be the busiest I've ever seen it. And it's a Wednesday afternoon. Oh, hey, another motorcycle. It's a Harley boy. Let's see if he waves. Hey, he's waving. Actually, I don't know if that was a Harley, but it was some kind of a cruiser. Yeah, I guess the nice thing about being back in Ohio is at least it's not Nebraska. And I loved living in Nebraska when we did for a very brief amount of time. We only lived there for like 8 months. And then I got to transfer for more money like 8 months after I transferred out to Nebraska. And it was great though. I loved it in Nebraska, but man, it was cold. And the people were so freaking nice. Nicest people in the world in Nebraska. I basically crashed a garage party at the apartment complex I moved into. You know, they had like little one-car garages. And I saw a bunch of people in one of the garages out there playing beer pong. And I just like walked over and just kind of crashed their party. They're like, hey man, what's going on? Nice to meet you. And they all introduced themselves to me. I made a whole new group of friends like in one night. They were just throwing drinks at me, having a good time. The one guy who actually lived at the apartment complexes ended up becoming very good friends with him. Still talk to him. Another guy that I still talk to. Yeah, I think this was back in 2014. I still talk to all these guys. There was another guy though. He was a truck driver. That's before I was a truck driver. But he used to like pick me up in his truck all the time because I worked kind of like early morning. I was part-time, so I worked like early morning. And then I'd be off at like 9 a.m. He'd swing by in his truck and he'd pick me up and I'd go do ride-alongs almost every day with this dude. He invited me to like all their family events, completely took me in like family. They all did. I mean, they all took me in like family. So I mean, they're the nicest people in Nebraska. I mean, even just the people like going into a Walmart or a gas station or you know, something like that. Everyone was just wildly nice. Especially if they found out you aren't from there. You know, this is small town Hastings, Nebraska. You know, they tell you like all the stuff you can do, which is nothing. But they would try to tell you all the stuff that you can do, you know, and what's around the area. Just super nice people in Nebraska. Especially Hastings. Hastings, Corny, Grand Island. Very nice people out there. Why does it look so busy? I can see it right there. It looks so busy. Shouldn't be that busy. It's freaking 1:30 on a Wednesday. I guess it's not as busy as I thought. It looked more, or looked like there was more cars out here from the road up there than what there really is. So it doesn't look too bad. Got a hole in your bumper, my guy. Actually, my car has a hole in the bumper too because I hit a deer. Yeah, I got my pretty gear on today. Leaving Best Buy now. Go get me a external hard drive because I ran out of room on my computer because I've been lazy and haven't been editing videos. I mean, I was gonna need one anyway, but I've been lazy and haven't been editing my videos, so I have like all of just the raw footage, which is and a lot. You know, I cut out like half the stuff I record to, you know, make the videos shorter. So like I'll record like maybe, I don't know, an hour worth of stuff, 45 minutes worth of stuff, and then I essentially cut it down to like 12 minutes. And which when I'm done, I just delete all the raw footage, you know, use what I want, and then delete everything else. And since I haven't been editing, I gotta use up all my space, which eventually, you know, I was gonna use it all up anyway, so I was gonna need an external hard drive to begin with. Just figure I'll go ahead and do it now and actually start editing some of this stuff. I mean, I've got enough videos to last me through probably March. And who knows, by the time I post this video, it might be March. Maybe February or something like that. I don't even know how many I have. Yeah, I've just been trying to make as many as I can so I can continue posting when it gets cold, which is gonna be here soon. I thought it was gonna be cold by now. I thought like September was basically gonna be like the last I was gonna be recording. And it turned out I was wrong. Talking about Nebraska earlier, they know how to freaking party out there, I'll give them that. There's nothing else to do. Hastings, Nebraska is in the middle of a cornfield. It is like a town of, I think, like 20,000 people. It's actually halfway decent size. It was like a little college town. They had some college out there, I don't remember what it was, some no-name college. It was a great town, but there's nothing else, there's nothing to do out there but party. We actually moved there, and I think it was like the week we moved there, we went to Grand Island, which is just north of Hastings, and like, we asked one of the guys who was working a kiosk in the middle of the mall, like, so what is there to do around here? You know, we just moved to Hastings, what's there to do? And he said, and I quote, drink beer and jerk off. And he wasn't lying. There's nothing to do out there but party, but man, they know how to throw on, you know, throw some good parties. I went to my buddy's wedding. Rest in peace to their marriage, they're divorced now. I went to my buddy's wedding. It was like open bar, well, not open bar, it was an open bar for beer. All the beer was free, but you had to pay for the liquor. And they had so many people at this wedding. Like, I don't even know how many. I'm probably remembering wrong, but it felt like over 100. And I'm probably wrong. It was probably like 50, if that. You know, this was 10 years ago. I don't remember. But anyway, so I was 20 to 30 beers deep by the end of the night. And so my friend gave me a ride home, the one that lived in the apartment complex that I lived in, one whose party that I crashed when I met all those guys. So he drove me home. I was just obliterated drunk, and I felt really bad afterwards because, like, I'm in the back seat, him and his wife were in the front seat, and oh, you're a raccoon, I feel bad. But him and his wife were in the front seat, I'm in the back seat, sitting next to their 3-year-old daughter, and I'm 22 years old and just obliterated drunk. Like, I got out of the car and just started walking towards my apartment, didn't even say a word to him. Like, I was so drunk I almost couldn't walk. And I threw up in the parking lot in front of somebody's garage door. And then it turned out the garage door I puked in front of, sounded like I said pooped, puked in front of, the garage I puked in front of was a guy that actually, I was his boss. So I went into work on Monday, and he was telling me, he goes, yeah, apparently someone at the apartment, you know, 'cause he knew I lived there, so apparently someone at the apartment complex got a little too drunk this past weekend, or, you know, had the flu or something, and threw up right in front of my garage door. And I was like, oh, that was your garage? That was me. And then, you know, he started laughing about it. He goes, dude, that's gross. Were you sick? And I was like, no, I was so drunk I almost couldn't walk. That was the last time I got that drunk. That was an extreme amount. Like, I woke up on the floor in my living room. I remember walking into my living room. You know, like I say, I was like 20 to 30 beers deep. This was 20 to 30 beers over maybe like an 8-hour night. You know, so, I mean, that's still a lot. But it wasn't like I drank 20 to 30 beers in 2 hours. This was like 8-9 hours of, you know, partying. We got in real early in the morning, so this was a long reception. And I mean, it was a lot of fun though. I remember everything, but I remember walking into my apartment and I couldn't work the buttons on my button-up shirt that I had to get my shirt off, so I just ripped it off, and I tripped or something. I don't know what happened, but I fell on the floor, and then I just went to sleep right there. I was like, nah, I guess I'm not gonna go to bed. Woke up in the morning, crazy hungover. Yeah, Nebraska's a cool place though. It's cold, so cold. Also, fun fact, Hastings is the birthplace of Kool-Aid. I think they had a museum there for it too, but they had like a festival in like the spring or the summer or something like that, called Kool-Aid Days. I don't know if they still do that because, you know, COVID. I'm sure they brought it back. I'm sure they probably skipped it for like a year or two, but I'm sure they got that going on. I think that had been going on for so many years. They're not just going to stop. But yeah, Kool-Aid Days. It was, I don't know what went on there. We never actually went, but from what I understand, it is like a big festival. I don't know if there's any rides or anything like that, but there's all these different flavors of Kool-Aid you can try at like stands and stuff like that. And, you know, you take your kids out there and they have a good time. There's games to play and food and Kool-Aid. And from my understanding is all the adults, you know, they'll bring like a little something to put in the Kool-Aid to make it a little more fun. And then they just walk around and drink, get drunk with their kids at Kool-Aid Days. I mean, they're not giving it to their kids. They're getting drunk walking around with their kids. I don't know how true that actually is, but it wouldn't surprise me if it actually is true. Because again, nothing else to do. But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. I really have nothing to talk about. I'm just winging it. I guess that's what I do in all my videos. Anyway, feel free to subscribe. As always, love you. Bye.